Right to be Read podcast, episode number 95. Giving up.
Hey authors, wish you could just write books and forget about all this marketing and coordinating with freelancers and formatting and proofreading and stuff? You're not alone. It's every artist's dream to just be able to create art while turning over the whole business and marketing side to someone who really loves and is really great at doing just that. If you're ready to start treating your writing like a business and get an experienced publishing and marketing team behind your words, pay a visit to Archangel Ink. Archangel Ink does absolutely everything needed to take a manuscript and turn it into a finished product ready to sell in all markets and multiple formats, from cover design to audiobook and everything in between. And as an Archangel Ink client, you'll be able to promote your book through Buck Books, the world's fastest growing book promotion website, at no extra charge. To find out more, go to www.archangelink.com. That's archangelink.com.
You are listening to the Right to be Read podcast, and this is your host, Ani Alexander.
Hey there, you're listening to the Right to be Read podcast, the one that inspires and encourages writers, and it's me again, Ani Alexander. Today we'll have a short one again, and we'll talk about giving up. We all have given up at some point. All of us at a certain point have stopped believing that we'll be able to make it. Some of us have done it often, some just very few times, but all of us know how it feels. The sad fact is that most of us give up far too soon. I was thinking the other day, why do we actually give up? What are the most common reasons, and are there any ways to get around those? Well, let's get to the first reason, and that's discouragement. No matter what you have decided to do, as soon as you share it with people, there will be at least few who will tell you that you can't do it, and then come up with different reasons about why it can't be done. At that point, you may decide to give up the idea even before giving it a try. And that's really, really sad, and I've done that myself too. Several times. So I came up with a solution, actually, and I'll share it with you now. Instead of thinking about giving up, think about how are you going to prove all those people wrong. Get inspired by the biographies of Michael Jordan, Steve Jobs, and Ray Charles, and all others who proved that discouraging words have no power. And in fact, proving those who dubbed me wrong has been pretty good motivation for me so far. So let's get to the second reason. The second reason why people give up is lack of self-confidence. And if you don't believe in yourself, you will always be tempted to give up because you won't believe in your success. The self-doubt will be keeping you from pushing forward. And I was there too. I somehow thought that I was not strong enough to make my dreams come true. But then there was a shift in the mindset which sort of set me free. And it was one simple realization. The realization that none of the people who have succeeded are better than me. Yes, they worked harder, they were persistent, and they believed in their dreams, but they were not better, and you are as good as them too. The third reason for giving up may be the lack of focus. These days there are so many distractions, the social media, the TV series, different smartphone notifications. They all won't let you focus on the important things. And if you don't focus on your goal, you will end up with mediocre and insufficient results. And that will discourage you. Which kind of reminds me of yet another reason. We give up when we don't see immediate results. We all want things to happen fast, and it is hard to realize that it does take time. There is no such thing as overnight success. So we have to keep in mind that it takes time and be prepared not to give up, at least for that certain period of time. One of the most common reasons you give up may be the lack of motivation, enthusiasm, and inspiration. When I'm starting something new, I am on fire. I'm full of enthusiasm and I'm really, really motivated. But with the time, things sort of start cooling off. And at some point, the self-motivation may not be enough to keep me moving. And that is when I may think about giving up. That is when I need to go back to the very beginning and try to recall the big why. Why did I start the project in the first place, and what was initially motivating me? And that kind of brings me back on track most of the time. People also give up because they miss their comfort zone. No matter what kind of life you had, you were used to it, and that brought comfort. Now, when you have initiated changes, you entered the stage of uncertainty and struggle, which by no means is comfortable. What makes me not give up in those cases is the thought that once I get where I want to be, my new comfort zone will be much better one. We also often give up because we initially thought that things would be easier. But I'd argue saying that anything worth achieving is hard. And yes, the easiest option is to just give up. But then, will it be easy living with the regret that you gave up midway? On the other hand, I would also say that giving up is something not so terrible and wrong. Because sometimes you may end up having too many things on your plate, and that may make you overwhelmed. Sometimes you may need to give up certain things because they may not be a priority at that certain point. And sometimes you may just realize that what you have been doing have been wrong and you have to do something else or in a better way. So you kind of have to pivot and start over and give up the approach which didn't work out. So giving up is not something terrible. You may at some point decide to give up, and it does not mean that you're a loser or something. But what is most important is that you don't give up your dreams and the things you want really bad. Don't give up your passion, and never give up writing. So I'll meet you in the next episode. Meanwhile, don't give up.